Hi guys, these are our notes today about rearranging formulas. Should be pretty easy, simple notes. It's going to go in on slide 12 through 13. So at the top of your paper, go ahead and put your title for me, notes 4B.1.3 rearranging formulas. And then you can put your first line, just rearrange equations and formulas to solve for a specific variable. So you might hear these as literal equations or rearranging formulas, or the problem might say like make x the subject or something like that. But basically, to rearrange a formula, use inverse operations to get the specified variable by itself. So today you're going to have to use inverse operations. We did a lot of like solving for y on some problems, but you know, adding and subtracting undo each other, multiplying and dividing undo each other, a square and a square root undo each other, like an exponential piece, you're going to have to use a log to solve. So just, remember that you're using the opposite operation to get a piece by itself. We're just going to do 5 examples. We're just going to walk through, and then you have, I think, like 7 homework problems. I don't remember. All right, so it says solve for v, 5v minus 2w equals 25. So we're going to go ahead and just get v by itself. So that's your goal. If it says solve for v, might say make v the subject, whatever it might say. So that's the piece we're trying to get by itself. So it's attached to a 5, so it's 5 times v, and then it's minus 2w. So you always move whatever's being added or subtracted first. You're going like backwards from PEMDAS. You move anything that's added or subtracted first. So we're going to go ahead and add 2w to both sides. We get 5v equals 2w plus 25. You could write 25 plus 2w. Either way would be the same. Then I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides by 5. I kind of look at my 2 pieces and decide if I'm going to do one big fraction or 2 smaller fractions based off can one of these 2 things be evenly divided by 5. Since 25 can be evenly divided by 5, I'm going to separate them. So I get v equals 2/5 w plus 5. All right, number 2 says solve for y, ax plus by equals c. This right here, this problem is going from standard form to slope-intercept form. So this is like a good skill to be able to have. So we're going to start off with solving for y. It's very similar to the last problem. Okay, we're going to get y by itself. So it's being multiplied by b, and then it's being added with ax. So we're going to subtract ax on the other side. We're going to try to get it into slope-intercept form. So I get by equals negative ax plus c. I want to get it into slope-intercept form, so I'm going to divide both sides by b. I am going to separate it even though these are just like variables, not numbers that I can actually divide. But if you were trying to get something into slope-intercept form so you could graph it or whatnot, then you would want to, divide each one separately. So negative ab times x, that'd be like the slope. And then c over b, that would be our y-intercept. Next problem is a formula for triangle, area of a triangle. Solve for b, area equals 1/2 base times height. So we're going to go ahead and solve for b. We want to get b by itself. So first off, I'm going to get rid of this 1/2. So how you would get rid of 1/2, that's 1 divided by 2. So instead of dividing by 2, you're just going to multiply both sides by 2. Make sure you pay attention to letters that are capitalized and not capitalized. So I just get 2 capital A equals BH, so capital A is area, base, and height. We're trying to solve for b, so right now the b and the h are multiplied, so we're just going to go ahead and divide both sides by h. And we always put our b on the left side, even though when I solved it, it was on the right. And then the base is equal to 2 areas divided by the height. So that's all you have to do for your homework. So it's going to be one picture you put into your digital notebooks. Now flip your paper over. We just have 2 last examples. Number 4 says solve for z. W equals 2 plus 4z divided by z. So notice that we're solving for z, but there are 2 z's. So this is going to be kind of like our rational expression inverse problems we did like back in January. But to start us off, I'm going to get rid of this dividing. So I'm going to multiply both sides times z. So z times w is just zw. And then the z's are going to cancel on this side, so just have 2 plus 4z. So we're trying to solve for z. I have 2 of them though. We want to get our z's on the same side, so I'm going to go ahead and subtract 4z. You can't actually subtract them. They're not like terms, so it's just going to be zw. I'll put the positive one first. Zw minus 4z equals 2. And then I'm going to go ahead and, I could have put WZ, but I put ZW. So my goal is to find Z. I want to isolate Z. I want to get Z by itself. So to do that, I'm going to factor out a Z because they both have that in common. And then in the parentheses, I would have W minus 4 because ZW divided by Z is just W. And then 4Z divided by Z is just 4. That equals 2. Now I only have one z, yay, so to get it by itself, I'm just going to divide by whatever it's being multiplied by, and that's w minus 4. So this was kind of similar to like a inverse problem we did before. Alright, and last example, solve for x. U equals the square root of 2x minus 2. So my goal is to get x by itself. So I have minus 2 times 2 and then a square root. So I'm going to go ahead and go back kind of backwards, and I'm going to get rid of the square root first. So I'm going to square both sides. That's how you cancel a square. So I get u squared equals 2x minus 2. And then I'm just trying to solve for x. So to get x by itself, I'm going to add 2. So u squared plus 2 equals 2x. And then I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that 2 in front of your x so that x is by itself. One of these 2 things can be evenly divided by 2. So I get x equals u squared divided by 2 plus 1. So one thing you need to know about rearranging formulas is that all of your pieces are still going to be there when you rearrange it. So if in your bedroom you have your bed and you have a nightstand and you have a dresser and a desk, right? You can rearrange your room and put your bed here and your nightstand here and your desk here and your dresser over here. But they're all still in your room. So the same kind of thing happens. Like my square root is still there, but now it's in the form of a square. I still have an x. I still have my timesing by 2, but it's there as a dividing by 2. And then my negative 2 is still there, but it transformed to a positive 1 because I divided it by 2. So all the pieces are still there. They're just kind of in their inverse form. So this is on slide 12 and 13, and then your homework is more practice on delta math. And that's it.